Hey guys, happy Thursday. Is today Thursday? Yes. Happy January 23rd. 1, 2, 3. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. I have been in my bed the whole morning. It's 12:12 and I'm still right here. Okay, so yeah, let's get into this word. I don't know if we're going to get to our morning devotional because this word is so intense and I feel like it's super long, but maybe I feel like it's super long because I'm the one that's been writing it out and studying it. And I've sat on this word for almost a month. God gave me this word on December the 29th through a prophetic dream. And I've been sitting on it since because I just felt like it took a lot out of me to study it, to sit with it, to interpret it. Like I just feel like I felt like it took a lot, and it did. Um, so let's get into this word because I'm not gonna keep going around and around. But yeah, I sat on it for a minute. But this word is titled "The Other Woman and the Raven," but God restores. The other woman and the raven, but God restores. Take this word to God, take me to God, as I always tell you guys with any word. Please don't comment your business in the comment section. You guys have to be very careful of doing that. You don't have to email me anything about what's going on with you. Simply take this word to the Lord. Let him give you more on it. Let him give you more leading and more guidance. But just be careful of where you put your information. If it resonates with you, put it. I like to hear that it resonated. God spoke to you through it, but I don't need the whole explanation. Neither do other people, strangers that are reading these comments. Some of them are monitoring spirits. Like you have to pay attention to what you put out there, right? But again, take the word to the Lord. You don't have to email me an essay about what's going on. I'm glad if it resonates with you, take it to God because he's the one that wants you to commune with him about these things so that he can give you further revelation. I am just a vessel. Okay, a vessel that God has put a lot in my hand. So I have a lot going on. I have a membership now. I'm coaching. I'm doing ministry stuff here. I'm helping people that are on the 32-day challenge. Like God always has my hands full with this ministry, and I like it. It's really, really good. But just be mindful that we as prophetic voices need like a break too. We need to be refilled too. So take however you feel to God, sit with him on it, let him give you more on it. Okay. I feel like sometimes people expect prophetic voices, pastors, evangelists like us to be supermen and superwomen, and we're simply human. Okay. We need breaks too. So take it to God. But this is called The Other Woman and the Raven. I had this dream on 12/29. And this dream could go in several different ways, but it is specifically for people that God is restoring a marriage. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say about that. He's restoring a marriage. Um, and it's not going to be easy. You'll understand more as I get into the word. I have this is not a notebook, it's a trapper keeper. Do people still call these trapper keepers? Or is that like old lingo? I mean, to me, this is still called a trapper keeper. What is it called? Oh no, it doesn't even say on here, but we used to call it back in the day a trapper keeper. Do people still call I don't know if people still call it that. But when I was in school, they did, but these are all my notes from this dream. Okay. And then I have notes on my phone. So just bear with your girl. Okay. So dream on December 29th of last year. In this dream, I was in my ex-husband's house laying on his chest in his bedroom. There was another woman. Did I press record? Okay, yeah, I did. I was in my ex-husband's house laying on his chest in his bedroom. There was another woman in the room, too, and my ex-husband told her that she needed to find another bed to lay in. Pretty much he was saying she couldn't lay in his bed anymore. And that yeah, she needed to move. So she moved to a different bed and began to rant about how she doesn't believe in real love and marriage. etc. My ex-husband then started telling me how he hasn't been focused on any other woman or talking to anyone else or interested in anyone else. He had a new cell phone, and I remember asking him if I could see it, and he handed it to me without any hesitation or reservation. He let me look at the cell phone, he let me look through it. And I remember being surprised that he was letting me look through his phone since it had all of his personal stuff in it. He then said he wanted to get me one as well. The scene switched, and I was now in the kitchen. I went to get something to eat, and as I was putting the food in my mouth, before I could bite into it, a black bird flew in and took the food out of my hand, and this happened twice. As it took it out of my hand both times, it flew to the floor and started eating it. I remember not being afraid of the bird, but just startled by it and wondering how it even got in the house because I didn't see it coming. And also, the windows and doors were closed. After that happened, I remember feeling like I just wanted to go back to the bedroom and lay on my ex-husband's chest. But I knew that before I went back to the bedroom, I needed to wash the dishes in the sink so that he could wake up to the dishes being clean and he didn't have to worry about it because I knew he had to get up for work early the next morning. I wanted him to wake up to clean dishes. I also knew that I needed to brush my teeth before going back to bed as well. The scene switches, and I'm now outside cleaning out the car, and it's 3 in the morning. My ex-husband comes outside and he's telling me he needs to show me something, but he said not to be mad at him because he would take care of it. Before he showed me what it was, I knew he was going to show me my black heels with a net on the front of it. That's how they're designed. Like in real life, I have black heels and they're netted on the front. So I knew he was going to show me those heels and that he was showing me because the bird had destroyed them. End of the dream. This is the interpretation that the Lord gave me for this. Being at my ex-husband's house in his room, laying on his chest. The Lord is bringing intimacy, peace, comfort, trust, and familiarity, as well as rest to many unions in this hour, unions of restoration, marriage restoration. He is preparing a restoration and a closeness. He's rebuilding. The other woman in the room that my ex-husband kicks out of his bed, the person that God is reconnecting and restoring you to has or is distancing themselves from external influences that once held internal places in their lives, people that they were once intimate with, people that once held your position in one way or another as temporary placeholders. Being that she was still in the room, this represents soul ties that haven't been completely severed and broken, lingering effects of this person's past decisions and covenants. This lingering connection still desires to be a part of this person's life. Her disbelief in love and marriage represents the spirit of division that she carries and the opposition to God's covenant relationships. This person will never respect your role as a wife and will try to bring division and interference. The new cell phone represents personal and private communication, access to this person's thoughts and plans, access to this person's heart. My ex-husband allowing me to look through the person's, my ex-husband allowing me to look through the phone without fear or hesitation represents a new heart that God has implanted in this person that he's restoring you to. This level of trust and openness reflects their level of healing and restoration that's been done internally. They are willing to share their heart with you in a way that's open and unguarded. This is different than before for many of you. So the cell phone represents their personal and private thoughts, communications, and plans. So them sharing their heart with you on a deeper level without hesitation, without reservation. Okay. My ex-husband offering to get me a new phone represents the person that God is restoring you to desires for this time of reconnection to be different on both ends, with a new level of trust, transparency, and openness that neither one of you have ever experienced. A new start, regardless of the past. Me going into the kitchen to get something to eat represents you being in a place that God has prepared for you, one of provision and nourishment. Remember, Esther was in a place like this too. She was in the palace, right? Full of wealth and nourishment, but an enemy, Haman, was there also. Although he didn't live there, he was always close by, plotting. Catch this. David was also in a place like this, a place of that was prepared to nourish, right? In a place of provision. He was rich, right? He had his own palace. But the enemy, lust, was always there lurking, waiting to attack, and it succeeded with Bathsheba, hence the ravens. So we're going to get into more about the ravens, but just take into consideration, I'm in this kitchen, a place of provision, nourishment, and blessings from God. Okay. And I'm ready to bite into and partake in those blessings, right? I'm there. Just like Esther was there, but her enemy was Haman. It was Satan working through a person to do something horrible to her and her people, right? Then you have the same with David. It was enemy working through him through a spirit of lust, okay, to get him out of alignment with God's will. So Satan can work through people, but he can also work through you. Okay, catch that. As I'm sitting there or standing in the kitchen getting ready to bite into the food, the ravens swooped in twice and took the food from me, right? The ravens represent people or things sent by the enemy to steal what God has blessed you with before you can fully partake in it. Whether previous relationships, entanglements, or counterfeit marriages, internal demons as well, the ravens represent connection or influence, spiritual and physical, to this person that God is restoring you to that hasn't been completely severed or broken. These soul ties may still affect this person emotionally, mentally, or even physically, impacting their ability to fully step into this restoration that God is presenting to them, while in turn seeking to snatch this blessing, this restoration, from your hands before you can even fully enjoy it. The ravens also represent spiritual warfare that seek to disrupt your provision, nourishment, and blessings that God has for you in this union. It happened twice in this dream. The raven took my food twice. Now, mind you, in the dream, I knew this bird to just be a black bird, but when I woke up from the dream, the Lord told me it was a raven. Okay. So it happened to me twice in this dream that the raven took my food, which means that this will be a reoccurring attack in a specific area of your life, in your marriage, in your restoration. Pay attention. Just as God led Esther to take down her enemy and save multiple people in her family line, he will do the same for you. Just as God led David to take down his inner demon of lust and see the wrong in his actions, he will do the same for your restoration, regardless what side it's on. Restoration and grace is always available with God, and he will always defeat all enemies involved. Ravens remember human faces for years and associates them with positive or negative experiences. Now, this is a real life fact about raven. They can see your face, about ravens. They can see your face and they'll remember your face or any person's face for years. This is a real fact about ravens, right? And they associate that face with negative or positive experiences, right? Another fact about ravens is that they have an amazing mimicry ability. So they have mimicry skills, which means they can mimic human sound, human voices. Y'all better catch this. They can mimic human speech, right? Both of these are qualities that Satan carries when he works through others. He is a monitoring spirit. So just like ravens remember faces for years and associates them with negative or positive experiences, Satan monitors and keeps track of vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and past failures in order to use them to repeatedly attack us. Just like ravens can mimic human voices and other things, Satan deceives with counterfeit voices and messages, pretending to be something that he is not, and he uses others to do the same. He tries to imitate, steal, and manipulate blessings that God is trying to give you through counterfeit voices and influences that aren't from God. Me knowing that I needed to do the dishes so that my ex-husband could wake up for work the next morning without dirty dishes, and also needing to brush my teeth before returning to bed. The dishes in his sink represent spiritual residue of past entanglements, things that this person was connected to before the restoration. You are called to assist with it, not because you caused it, but because God has given you the authority to sanctify this person through covering, intercession, and obedience. God is calling you to spiritually cleanse and intercede for this person, ensuring that what he carries into this restoration is pure and no longer tainted by past attachments. Brushing my teeth. This part of the dream reinforces the need for you to purify your words and thoughts before returning to a place of intimacy with this person. You must be intentional about how you speak over your husband and this marriage, regardless of what's happening around you, regardless of what the enemy is trying to throw your way in order to tear the restored marriage apart. No weapon formed against you will prosper. One second. Proverbs 14:1 NLT version says, "A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands." This verse highlights that a wise wife strengthens, nurtures, and establishes her home, while a foolish one destroys it, whether through words, actions, or lack of wisdom. This verse speaks directly to how a wife's speech can negatively affect her husband. Hence, me knowing I needed to brush my teeth before going to bed after the raven had stole my food. So we already discussed what the raven in the kitchen and all of that means. What is going to try to come your way in this restoration is going to make you want to lash out against the person that God is restoring you to. Okay. And the Lord is saying, brush your teeth, as in purify your speech. Okay. Because a wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. Proverbs 21:9, better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. This verse speaks to a contentious and argumentative wife, right? How they create unbearable environments that the husband is better off not being a part of, okay? Catch that. Proverbs 12:4, a wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a disgraceful wife is like decay in his bones. A godly wife honors and uplifts her husband, while a wife who brings disgrace or strife weakens him emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Okay. 1 Corinthians 7:14 NLT. I'm also going to read this from the King James Version. So NLT says, "For the Christian wife brings holiness to her marriage, and the Christian husband brings holiness to his marriage. Otherwise, your children would not be holy, but now they are holy." The King James Version says, "For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy." This verse emphasizes that a wife has the power to either build or weaken her marriage through her words, actions, or spiritual influence. A wise and godly wife sanctifies her husband, nurtures her home, and strengthens her marriage through wisdom and through faith. This verse emphasizes that a believing wife has a powerful spiritual influence over her husband, even if he is not fully walking with God, right? The wife's presence, prayers, intercession, and faithfulness can create an atmosphere of sanctification, covering her husband spiritually. Hence, washing the dishes, right? I was washing dishes in his house. I didn't create the dirty dishes, but I chose to wash the dishes so that when he got up for work, there would be no dishes in the sink that he would have to deal with. Y'all better catch this. So washing the dishes again is cleaning the spiritual residue of past entanglements that this person was connected to before the restoration, right? Whoever this is for, you're called to assist with cleansing, not because you caused anything, but because God has given you the authority to sanctify. Go back to the verses, right? To sanctify this person through covering, intercession, and obedience. God is calling you to spiritually cleanse and intercede for this person, ensuring that what they carry into this restoration is pure and no longer tainted by past attachments or entanglements. All of these verses also go with brushing of the teeth, cleansing of the mouth, not speaking out against this person in this restoration, not speaking out against your husband, not feeling like things are being taken from you, so you're deciding to go after your husband with what's happening, to yell and scream. This is not a time for that. Brush your teeth, as in cleanse your speech, purify your mouth. Okay, that coincides with every verse I just read to you guys. Then the scene switches to me being outside at 3 a.m. cleaning the car, and then my ex-husband comes out and he's telling me, he was asking me in the dream, like, did I even give you guys this part? I'm forgetting, guys, if I even, this has been such a long morning, but it switches from me being in the kitchen to me being outside and him asking me to come inside to show me something. But he was saying, like, you can't be mad at me because I'm going to take care of it. And I knew in the dream he was getting ready to show me my black netted heels and that the raven destroyed it. Like, I knew it before he even showed me, right? But he was taking full responsibility. He's like, you can't be mad at me. I'll take care of it, but let me show you this, right? Going outside at 3 a.m. and cleaning the car, 3 a.m. is considered the watchman's hour, right? This is a significant time for prayer against spiritual warfare, right? It's a time when demonic activity is heightened, but also when intercessors stand in the gap to pray, bind the enemy, and receive divine revelation, right? Hence, I knew what he was going to show me before he even showed me, okay? That's God going ahead of you, whoever this is for. Um, Me going outside to clean this car at this exact time uh signifies that God is calling you into deep intercession to actively war against the schemes of the enemy that are trying to interfere with your restoration. Cleaning out the car at 3 a.m. is a prophetic act of purification, removing anything spiritually unclean from your journey. The car symbolizes your walk, your movement, your destiny, your marriage of ministry, right? My ex-husband coming outside wanting to show me something, this confirms that this person that God is restoring you to will become aware of the spiritual warfare surrounding this restoration. His willingness to show me the damage reveals that this person will acknowledge how their past choices, these past open doors that they've opened, is what's causing the spiritual attacks, and this person is no longer going to ignore them, right? He's going to notice and take notice of it, acknowledge it, right? This symbolizes partnership in the process, right? This person won't leave you to fight this battle alone. They will recognize the attacks and take responsibility in helping cleanse and protect this marriage ministry, right? Your marriage is a ministry. The ravens destroying my black heels with the nets on it, right? The ravens, again, represent witchcraft, deception, unclean spirits, right? Leviticus 11:15 talks about them being unclean. In my dream, they specifically target, well, not specifically, because they targeted my food as well, your food, which means the provision, the blessings God is providing you with. But they also target my heels, which are associated with your walk, your stability, and your authority, whoever this is for. The black heels with the net symbolizes your anointed walk into this marriage ministry. And the net represents the spiritual covering you have in this journey, right? The enemy attacking my heels mirrors Genesis 3, verse 15, which says, he shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel, right? The Lord God is talking about Satan, right? He shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel. If you go back to this entire verse, it says, and I will put enmity, I cannot get these words out, enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel, right? This is after Adam and Eve sinned, and God is telling them what he's going to allow, right? But he's also letting them know that the enemy has already been defeated, that they're going to go through some things, right? They're going to go through some things. Let's pull up. Hold on. I didn't plan on all of this, guys. This word is so long to me, but so enmity is the state of feeling or being actively opposed or hostile to something, right? It's hostility, right? So hold on, guys. Let me pause you really quick. Okay, so it represents hostility or animosity. So hold on. If you go back to this verse, God is telling them, I will put animosity and hostility, enmity, between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed, right? So God is telling them, due to your disobedience, I'm putting hostility between the two of you. Okay, so God is letting them know ahead of time, y'all are going to want to be at each other's throat. Like there's going to be hostility in this marriage, right? He shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel. He's talking about Satan and his attacks, right? But he's already telling them that they've defeated Satan because he's already defeated Satan, right? God is telling them he's already defeated the enemy. So this verse is known as proto-evangelium, right? Which is the first prophecy of Jesus defeating Satan. It represents the spiritual battle between the enemy and God's people. But God is letting us know ahead of time, Jesus has already defeated the enemy. This is already done, okay? He was just giving them a forewarning, right? He was just giving them a prophecy of what was to come, but he's also telling them, my son has already defeated him. So you're good. You're still going to go through it in this marriage. It's going to be hostility and all the things throughout this marriage, but my son has already defeated the enemy. So this is literally the first prophecy in the Bible of Jesus defeating Satan prior to Jesus even being born and coming to defeat the enemy. It was already done, right? So the enemy targeting my heels in the dream, hence the ravens, which symbolize witchcraft, deception, and spiritual interference, they destroyed my heels. The heel is where Satan tries to strike, meaning the enemy is going to attempt to wound your walk, delay your progress, and hinder your movement in this marriage. Okay, the heels represent your spiritual walk in authority. Shoes, in a biblical sense, represents a person's spiritual journey, their readiness, and authority, right? Ephesians 6:15 speaks of the shoes of the gospel of peace, right? The fact that my heels were attacked by ravens mean the enemy is specifically trying to damage your authority and disrupt your progress toward God, toward your God-ordained marriage restoration, right? He's trying to damage your authority, disrupt you from moving forward, right? The net on the heels represents spiritual covering, divine preparation, and protection that the enemy wants to destroy, right? Satan tries to strike the heel, but Jesus crushes his head. Okay, that's already done. Which means you also have the ability to crush Satan's head because it's already been done. Okay. So the enemy attacking my heels in this dream is a direct parallel to Genesis 3:15. As in he's trying to stop you before you fully step into the victory. However, Jesus, the seed of the woman, catch this, the seed of Mary who came to save us, Jesus, the seed of the woman, already crushed Satan's head, meaning this victory is already won. So even though the attack came, the victory is already secured in Christ, which is what the Lord is speaking. Lord, this word is taking so much out of me. Um, my ex-husband recognizing the damage, again, awareness of the battle, right? In the dream, my ex-husband saw the destroyed hills and brought it to my attention, meaning he's going to recognize that this is an attack from the enemy and join you in battle to break past influences and soul ties, right? This also aligns with Genesis 3:15 because it reveals a battle between Satan, between what Satan is trying to hold on to and what God has already redeemed. And he's going to continue to redeem this, okay? Satan is trying to attack your walk, hinder your steps into this God-ordained marriage ministry. This is a clear warning from God that past soul ties and former relationships connected to this person God is restoring you to is what's going to be used as an entry point for warfare. But it's also a strategy revelation showing you exactly where to focus your prayer. Okay? God is saying stay alert and vigilant. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. God is saying, I'm revealing the enemy's strategy to you so you are not caught off guard. The attacks may come, but you have authority to block them through prayer, sanctification, and obedience. Continue to purify the marriage even after you get into it, okay? The cleansing in this dream, cleansing the dishes, cleansing my teeth, brushing my teeth, is spiritual preparation. Just as Esther went through purification before stepping into her marriage with King Xerxes, you are going through a purification process and a sanctification process as you're in your marriage, right? You're still going through this process. You went through it before. You're going to go through this even in your marriage in order to step fully into what God is doing. Your words, your actions, and intercession play a crucial role in keeping this ministry covered from past soul ties and influences. This restoration is not just about God returning this person to you, it's a transformation as well. This person will acknowledge their past, the open doors, the spiritual attacks, and they will also partner with you. This is not a one-man show. This is both of you. This means he won't be passive in this warfare, but instead he'll stand with you, protecting and purifying the marriage also. So just like my ex-husband came to me in the dream and he said, don't be mad at me, I'll take care of it. Again, God is saying, purify your mouth, purify your words. Don't just get frustrated because things are coming against you. This is a partnership for you guys to partner with one another. The person is going to take responsibility for what's happening, and together you guys are going to defeat the enemy because Jesus has already defeated the enemy. Okay? He's already defeated the enemy. Don't get upset. Stay focused on the process. The enemy wants to frustrate you. God is saying, remain steadfast. Keep cleansing, keep praying, keep preparing. Your obedience is breaking generational cycles and shutting down demonic assignments. How to move forward. Pray and break past soul ties. Cover your marriage with prayer and sanctification and deliverance from past relationships, soul ties, and remaining influences that could be used against this union. Pray. Anoint your home and marriage in prayer. Dedicate your physical and spiritual space to God, right? As for you and your house, they shall serve the Lord. Declare that every residue from past entanglements is removed. Cover your steps in spirit, right? The enemy attacked my heels in the dream, meaning he wants to hinder your steps, your progress, your forward movement. Pray for divine guidance, protection, and acceleration in Jesus' name. Encourage your husband, or if you're a man and this is for you, encourage your wife in awareness and spiritual growth, right? The dream shows that this person is waking up spiritually, right? Pray that they fully surrender to God's will and becomes the leader and covering for this marriage ministry. They're already going to do that because it's in God's will for them to do it. But again, Satan is also monitoring and trying to not just discourage their walk, but yours also, the marriage, to becoming one. So whatever he's doing to you, it's affecting the both of you. This dream is not just a warning, but it's divine revelation of strategy. God is preparing both of you for the next phase of restoration. You are purifying and covering the marriage ministry in prayer. Your husband will recognize the warfare and join you in overcoming it. Satan will try to use past soul ties to interfere, but through wisdom, vigilance, and spiritual cleansing, they will not prevail. Okay, this dream is a call to action, not fear. Mind you, remember I said in the dream, I wasn't afraid of the raven. I just was startled, wondering how they got in. Okay, so this dream is a call to action, not to fear, for you to stand firm in faith and continue preparing for what God is fully restoring. Okay, that was a lot. I pray that it makes sense for who it's for. I feel out of breath and all the things. I don't even have my devotionals to do the devotional with you guys. Um, so I'll probably put the devotionals in a short. But yeah, that's the word, guys. I'm just gonna leave it right here because I feel exhausted. The warfare is real. But whoever this is for, don't sleep on this word because God is going before you and he's warning you of what's to come. So don't sleep on this word. Okay, but that's it. I'm going to leave it at this because I feel like it's so long. But again, maybe I feel like that because I've been studying it for quite a while and I feel exhausted. So send your prayers my way, but I pray that this blesses who it's for. I love you guys and I hope you have a good Thursday and take this word to heart. Take it to God. Don't take it to me. Take it to God. Let him give you more on it. Love you and have a great day.